So we're going to make some observations about the trig functions of complementary angles. Recall that complementary angles add up to 90 degrees, and in a right triangle, the two acute angles, so in my picture, angle A and angle B, are complementary to each other. And I think we've already kind of observed this just because of the way SOHCAHTOA works, that the sine of angle A, which for angle A, that would be the side opposite to angle A divided by the hypotenuse, is equal to the cosine of angle B, because that's the same as the adjacent side to angle B divided by the hypotenuse. And likewise, the cosine of angle A equals the sine of angle B. Also, the tangent of angle A, which would be the side opposite A to the adjacent side, is equal to the cotangent of angle B, which is just going to be the reciprocal of the tangent of B. Now, there's more. So, if we think about what the secant of A is, which we know it's 1 over the cosine of A, well, we just observed that the cosine of A equals sine of B, so this is 1 over sine of B, and 1 over sine of B is the cosecant of B. So there's a relationship between secant of A and cosecant of B, and also between cosecant of A and secant of B. And in each case, we have two angles, A and B, A and B, A and B, A, that are complementary. And when you look at the trig functions in each equation, it's like a trig function and its cofunctions, sine and cosine, or cosine and sine, tangent and cotangent, secant and cosecant. And this is really where the co comes from in cosine, cotangent, cosecant. And let me try to make a general statement here about this. If A and B are complementary angles, then a trig function of one of those angles, say of A, is equal to the co-trig function of B. So I'm trying to state this in a way so that it works for all of these different cases. So a trig function and a co-trig function is like sine and cosine, that relationship, or tangent and cotangent, or secant and cosecant. So let's do an exercise here. This is exercise 8. Just fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. And we'll break this into several parts. These are pretty quick problems. Sine of 15 degrees equals the cosine of what? Well, sine and cosine are co-trig functions. So all I have to do is figure out the complement of 15 degrees. 90 minus 15 is 75. So sine of 15 degrees equals the cosine of 75 degrees. B, cosine of 80 degrees equals the sine of what? Well, same thing. Take 90 minus 80 is 10. The cosine of 80 degrees equals the sine of 10 degrees. In fact, the word cosine means sine of the complementary angle. Cosecant means the secant of the complementary angle. Cotangent means the tangent of the complementary angle. Okay, so now C, tangent of 38 degrees equals cotangent of what? These are all the same kind of idea. Notice I have tangent and cotangent involved here. So if I take 90 minus 38, just be careful with your subtraction. I think that's 52, right? So tangent of 38 degrees equals cotangent of 52 degrees. And just one more. If we have cosecant of 25 degrees, that equals the secant of what angle? Now there may be other angles, but we're just saying for these, we can come up with at least one way to fill in the blank. Cosecant of 25 degrees is going to be the secant, so cosecant and secant are cotrig functions. 90 minus 25 is, I think, 65 degrees, right? And that's our relationship between trig functions and complementary angles.